Ladies and gentlemen, since Trump assassinated the general over in Iran, the rest of the world has been awfully silent. I think the only one I heard from was Netanyahu shortly after this happened. But as far as Europe and the Asian nations and anybody that's an ally, well, quote unquote ally to the US, have been awfully silent. They sure have not had much to say over this last week. Well, this came out in Business Insider January 12th, 2019. The UK is abandoning its alliance with Trump as the United States withdraws from its leadership around the world. Now, I remember last year during the G20, they said that they cannot look upon the US as a leader in the world anymore. And this article is showing you they still feel that way. Plus, I don't think they want to sacrifice their people for what Trump did. They don't see it as a good cause. Trump's decision to assassinate Qasem Soleimani has triggered a major rupture between the United States and its historically closest ally in the United Kingdom. In remarkably outspoken comments, UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace said on Sunday that Trump's isolationist foreign policy stance meant the UK was now looking for alternative allies around the world. I worry if the United States withdraws from its leadership around the world, he told the Sunday Times. He added the assumptions of the 2010 that we were always going to be part of the US coalition is really just not where we are going to be. So he's letting you know anything that the US do militarily, they don't feel obligated to be there. Doesn't that sound familiar? Remember when I said for us not to join this war? Because if we're not being treated right in this land, we should not be hauled off to war. Seems like a lot of people are feeling that way, but for different reasons. The comments came after Boris Johnson government distanced itself from the attack last week, with the UK Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab labeling it a dangerous escalation, which risks a conflict in which terrorists would be the only winners. A spokesman for the prime minister was also quick to condemn Trump's threat to target Iranian cultural sites as a breach of international law and a potential war crime. With the Iran crisis ongoing, the UK is now openly threatening to tear up its long-standing defense partnership with the United States. Wow. Do you know how biblical this is right now? It's very biblical, very biblical. UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace told the Sunday Times that the UK was increasingly looking for alternative international allies. Over the last year, we've had the US pull out from Syria. The statement by Donald Trump on Iraq, where he said NATO should take over and do more in the Middle East. Wallace said, well, NATO's already in the Middle East. They've been there for years. Assumption of 2010 that we were always going to be part of a US coalition is really just not where we are going to be. Wallace said the UK would need to reduce its dependence on US military assets. We are very dependent on American air cover and American intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets. We need to diversify our assets. Wallace told the paper that the UK would increasingly need to turn to other allies that more closely shared the UK's interests. Regardless of what the US does, we are going to have to make decisions that allow us to stand with a range of allies, with Five Eyes intelligence, partnership with America, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and our European allies, where our interests converge, he said. So they're pretty much saying we don't give a damn about what the US do. We're going our own way and we're going to go with alternative allies and we're not going to bother with the US. I mean, really that's what they're saying. They don't want to be bothered with the US anymore. Or am I the only one interpreting it, things that way? If you think I'm wrong, then put it in the comment section. Wallace also revealed that Trump administration had threatened to cut off its intelligence sharing partnership with the UK if Johnson's government pursued its plan to allow the Chinese telecom companies, Huawei, a role in Britain's 5G network. Well, how are you going to tell Britain who to do business with? Do business with anybody they want. They have repeatedly said that. They have been clear about that, he told the paper. Trump, the National Security Advisor, Defense Secretary, said it personally to me directly when we met at NATO. It's not a secret. They have been consistent. Those things will be taken into account when the government collectively decide to make a decision on it. He added, friends and enemies that are independent make you choose. Mm-mm-mm. So, y'all, that's what that's what they're saying. They're saying we don't give a damn about what the US do as far as Iran is concerned. And in fact, we're going to look to other people. We're not going to look to the US at all. We want to be independent of the US. So the way I interpret this, they're pretty much telling the US to get lost after the attack on Iran. I mean, that's how I'm reading this whole thing. They want the US to go away and deal with your own problems. And we'll just go off and we'll do business with everyone else. Wow. You can't get more clear. The UK do not want any involvement. They don't want to have to send troops to the Middle East over this assassination that Trump did. They don't want no part of this. And I'm hearing this from European nations. They don't want to join with Trump on this whole thing. They don't. And this is why you're not seeing it. So it looked like in this whole thing, the only ally that kind of spoke up in favor of what the US did was Israel. As far as the rest of the world, they don't have nothing to say. They don't have nothing to say. And when Trump gave his speech, he said he wanted the Europeans to step up. They're letting you know they're not going to step up. They're not interested in getting involved with this. They see it as like a black hole. You got yourself into something that you just, it's a big mess. It means you're going to be in the Middle East for an eternity now. And you're going to be at war with everybody around you. And you got those military bases. And there was another strike on the military bases, y'all, and people were injured. And I'm going to try to get to that story. But Trump has created a big mess. And the US, the way it looks like, is going to have to settle this whole thing with Iran all by yourself. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this. I guess I'm not surprised at all. But look, now it's out there. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.